Hello and welcome to Duncan's Dunkings, where we take the films of our lives, dunk them in the tea of harsh truths, and see if they hold together like the hobnobs of pride, or fall apart like the rich tea biscuits of shame.
Is that really what you're going to open your show with? Rich tea biscuit of shame?
This is my show, and I'll open it how I want to. When you have your own show, then you can open it however you want to. And what are you doing here anyway?
I'm working on an update for my game Mudlarks. You can download it now from GameJolt.com.
Oh look, Starbucks is doing a special offer. 0% off if you turn up with a laptop and a pair of stupid glasses.
Ooh.
Roll credits. Today we begin with a massive franchise failure, Stormbreaker, a film which at the time in 2003 was the most expensive British film ever produced with a budget of approximately £40 million. It was also filled to the rafters with the cream of British acting talent, Bill Nighy, Damian Lewis, Ewan McGregor, even the comedian Jimmy Carr. However, it was a complete and utter flop, drawing in just over half its budget at the worldwide box office. But was it really that bad? I mean, the central idea is that Alex Rider, a 15-year-old, is forced to become a spy. What 15-year-old hasn't wanted to be James Bond? This film franchise should have been a license to print money. So let's have a look and see exactly where it went from hero to zero. We begin with Ian Ryder, played by Ewan McGregor, escaping from some black-clothed goons who, in spite of the UK's strict anti-gun laws, proceed to shoot up a Cornish beach. The fact that in the real world this would cause a massive outcry is completely ignored. Interspersed with this, we get Alex Rider, played by a graduate of the Keanu Reeves School of Acting, Alex Pettifer, describing his family life, saying how his uncle is never around, interspersed with his uncle escaping from the villains. This is taking place with a fun car chase, where we see the car utilising rockets in a bid to escape from pursuers. Almost escaping, Ian calls Alex, apologises for having to go to a computer conference, and tells him he will be home for dinner. Alex somewhat believes him, before Ian hangs up and is killed by the world's first bungee jumping assassin, played by Damian Lewis. This is then intercut with a somewhat Bond-esque opening theme, which I forgot about as soon as it was over. We then cut to Alex coming home to his housekeeper, played by Alicia Silverstone, giving her finest performance since Batman and Robin. They are waiting on Ian to return when there is a knock on the door and they are given the bad news. We then cut to the funeral, where we find out the pod person version of Bill Nighy, playing a character called Alan Blunt, who is acting! His psychic, played by Sophie Okonedo, and another psychic, played by Jimmy Carr. During the funeral, Alex notices a few odd things. The priest describes his uncle as a true patriot, there are guys with guns hanging around, and when they return from the funeral, their house has been burgled. This leads into a thrilling bike chase through London, where Alex, on his pedal bike, chases a white van, because Alex Rider, as he's under 16, is not allowed to drive within the United Kingdom. He then chases the van through London, doing 3 stunts, before arriving at a scrapyard, where we get into one of the film's 2, count them, 2 fight scenes. Because in an action film, you only want 2 fight scenes. Alex discovers his uncle's bullet-ridden car. He also discovers that although it clearly had no bulletproof glass or bulletproof panelling, which has been clearly available since the 1980s, he also discovers it has an ejector seat. Because when you've been shot, you want an ejector seat. He is then discovered by the foreman, and his stunt double uses the legendary rope foo in an appallingly shot and edited fight scene. Alex ties them all up and leaves them before pedaling furiously away, following one of them to Liverpool Street Station, where he sees Jimmy Carr's character and decides to follow him. Now, Jimmy Carr's character goes into a photo booth, there's a flash, and he emerges having changed skin colour and gender, which to my mind is not a bad spying trick. Alex then enters the photo booth and discovers it's actually a passageway to a top secret level of MI6. meaning that MI6, a security service with almost 100 years of history, thought the best way to hide the secret entrance was to put it in a photo booth at a major station. Leaving aside the fact that there would be massive queues for this thing all day and night as agents come in and out, you're gonna get tourists in there being taken into MI5 who are then gonna have to be liquidated. This is not a good plan! Upon arriving at MI6, Alex is taken into its secret lair, which is massively under London, and appears to be the size and shape of the city above it. This is absolutely fine, because London is not famous for, say, having a massive underground train network, which you're in one of the major cities for. This lair makes no sense! There are thousands of empty buildings in London that you could use. You could put it on a ship and it would make more sense. The cost alone must have been astronomical. How can you defend the UK if you're busy emptying London? It makes no sense. Anyway, Alex is then blackmailed into working for MI6 after being told that his whole life his uncle was preparing him to be a spy. He speaks multiple languages, knows rope fu, karate, judo, rock climbing. His whole life his uncle was preparing him. He is then sent on a training training course, forgive me. He's sent on a training course where he meets up with the SAS, where he is codenamed Cub. This training course is incredibly short and lasts for approximately 4 minutes. It's your standard montage, you know, crawling, being shot at. There is one character who gets a tiny redemption arc called Wolf, who starts off hating Alex and attempting to sabotage him. However, after they get trapped in a house, Alex escapes, nearly kills 3 innocent people, and is then Wolf's best friend. I hope this character has a point, because, to be honest, you could have cut the training sequence and it would not have made much difference. Anyway, after about 40 minutes, the film remembers that it's actually supposed to have a plot and a villain. And the villain is introduced to us in the form of Darius Sale, a horrifically overacting Mickey Rourke, who appears just to have this aura that I have turned up on set for this pitiful little film, Be Grateful Mortals. And yet the strange thing, he fits right in. Everyone else seems to have the exact same issue. I have turned up on set, be grateful. And for the love of God, can someone get Bill Nye a cup of coffee? Alex brightens up when he's told he's going to get gadgets. Because this is a spy film, and you have to get gadgets. Am I the only one who really truly hates gadget scenes in films? But anyway, Gadget Man takes Alex behind the scenes where he gives him his gadgets. He gives him a spot cream that will melt metal. He'll give him a DS, which transforms into a listening device, a smoke bomb. He gives him a pen loaded with sodium pentothal, which will make people do whatever you say for 6 hours. And he gives him a parachute. Because Alex has been sent on a reconnaissance mission where he's expected to observe, report, retreat. No mention has been made of planes, or helicopters, or skydiving, or tall buildings, but he's still being given a parachute. Thus armed, Alex heads off to Cornwall to take on... Oh my god, what is that?! Oh, that's Nadia Vol, played by Missy Pyle, looking like a Helga from Allo Allo if she was reimagined by my nightmares. Also, at this point, Alex reveals that even though he's being sent undercover with a false name and identity, he still has his original Alex Rider mobile phone on him! Why? Why would you do this, you idiot? You're just creating plot points at this point, aren't you? Having been taken by the Helga to meet Darius Sale, he's introduced to his butler, Mr. Grin, played by Andy Serkis? Did they just go running around London with a net, grabbing every actor they could find? I swear the only reason Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen aren't in this is they're probably doing yet another production of Waiting for Godot or another X-Men movie. The villain, Darius Sale, is based in Cornwall, which is in England. Ian Ryder was assassinated in England. MI6 is based outside of England, the 12-mile border. Inside, MI5. Outside, MI6. Alex is being blackmailed by MI6. He shouldn't be there. Ian Ryder shouldn't have been there. It makes no sense when it cannot even get basic facts right. After a witty dialogue scene with Darius, and observing his pet man-of-war jellyfish, which, by the way, doesn't look like that, Alex is dispatched to look at the Stormbreaker, which looks like it will be absolutely horrific to maintain, install, run, staff, train people to use, train people in how to use. This thing's a white elephant. Maybe his plan is just to give one of these things to every school and charge them a fortune for the upkeep. Alex decides that he actually needs to do some spying, where he is caught by Nadia, who decides then that she doesn't trust him. So she tracks his phone, the real phone, with his real contacts in, tracks him to his address, and engages in the film's second and last fight scene with Alicia Silverstone. Again, it's horrific. I promise you, if you're a fan of bad fight scenes, it's got it all. Over-the-top movement, the TV interacting, it's just shocking. And worst of all, it doesn't have any relevance to the plot. It's never brought up, it's never mentioned, there's no consequences. It's almost as if Horowitz realised, I haven't put in a fight scene in my fight action film. I'm going to quickly do this and then discard it. Maybe he's padding the runtime. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. Alex, he eavesdrops that he's about to be killed, so he sneaks out and hides himself under a truck, which drives out to a secret entrance to the underground part that he observed earlier. Happily, the truck is stopped exactly at the right place by a flock of sheep. Fine, I'll go with the sheep. He then smuggles himself into the secret lair, where he discovers a green liquid will be placed inside each Stormbreaker. Alex also discovers that Damian Lewis is there, the man who killed his uncle. And then Alex is captured. He escapes, and is captured again, because Alex Rider is useless. This then leads into what could be quite a tense film when Alex is interrogated by Darius. Mr. Grin throws knives in a bid to interrogate Alex. Alex is then also thrown into the tank with the jellyfish, where he is told he will either drown or be stung to death. Now, in another better film, this could have been a really good tense scene. As his energy drains, he desperately thinks for a way out. But in this one, it lasts about 30 seconds. Nadia Vol is taking pictures, which show up on the screen. It really does destroy all tension. Alex escapes by using the metal-eating spot cream to melt the structures so that the glass cracks and Nadia Vol is killed by the jellyfish. Take that! Now get back to Aloha and stop scaring me so much. And this would work perfectly if not for one teeny tiny thing. There is no metal in fish tanks! Even for a puppet jellyfish, there is no metal in fish tanks! It would change the pH of the water to a lethal toxicity. Everything would be dead! This would not work! You'd be using a metal-eating cream on plastic! It does not work! It's like when I tried to introduce hipster to a girl! It just doesn't work! Alex escapes and attempts to get to London, having discovered that the Stormbreakers are in fact full of a lethal biovirus that will kill every child in London. He does this by climbing onto a plane being piloted by Mr. Grin, shoots him with the sodium pentothal and orders him to fly to London. Again, this is a brilliant plan except for two relatively minor things. Sodium pentothal is actually a knockout drug. It would have knocked him out for 6 hours. It would not have turned him into a mind-controlled zombie. And before you go, oh Duncan, it's just a film, it's just a film. No, Gadget Man said very clearly it's sodium pentothal. That means it does what sodium pentothal does. If they wanted a mind-controlled drug, they shouldn't have named it. They should have just said, here's a pen, it'll turn people into mind-controlled zombies for 6 hours. Leave it at that. You added in sodium pentothal, movie. You deal with sodium pentothal's actual requests. Also, we hear that the plane has instructions to fly to France. They then fly to London, which is in the opposite direction, which means it's going to be intercepted by the RAF and shot down as it's an unlicensed plane flying into London airspace, which the RAF tends to get quite cross about. Or it doesn't, and Alex prepares to parachute into the opening ceremony at the Science Museum, where the Prime Minister will unwittingly kill every school child in England. As Alex parachutes into the Science Museum, Mr. Grin flies off into the sunset, with strange visions of being covered in green polka dots for the rest of his life flash before his eyes. Alex crashes into the roof of the Science Museum, dangling like a puppet, helpless, as the Prime Minister prepares to press the button, because Alex Rider is useless! Happily, instead of shooting him, riddling him with bullets, the soldier in charge is Wolf. I knew it! I knew he would have a point later on, I knew it. I knew he would be brilliant. He recognises Cub, tells his men to stand down, throws Alex a gun. Alex takes aim at the Prime Minister, played by Robbie Coltrane, who's about to press the button, and starts shooting, riddling all the control with bullets, saving the day. Unfortunately, because everyone in this world is useless, Darius Sale manages to escape. Because of course he does, because what can I say, people in this world are useless, and it's not like the building would have an army of police around it who in 2 seconds on the radio, stop Darius Sale. No. Alex is not questioned, he's not interrogated, he's not debriefed, he's just told to go home and forget about this, because spies don't do paperwork, I guess. I mean, James Bond never does paperwork, the guys in Spooks never do paperwork, Jack Bauer never does paperwork. Oh wait, he's not a spy. Moving on. Alex is being driven home by Jack Starbite when he remembers that there was talk of a backup device, otherwise known as the plot lengthener. However, they can't get through London's infamous traffic. Realising that they're going to be stuck in traffic while millions of people have been killed because MI6 are far too stupid to take out the Stormbreakers or evacuate all the schools, this plot should not be a threat anymore. They're going to release a virus. Fine, you've evacuated the schools. He spots his not-quite girlfriend Sabina Pleasure. I swear to God I'm not making that name up. Sabina Pleasure. Oh, Ian Ryder, you would have loved that name. He spots his girlfriend and in 10 seconds convinces her that he's working for MI6, millions of people will die, and she has to drive him on horseback through central London. Okay. Whatever gets you over faster, movie. For the love of God, I just want it to be over. They then head to Darius Sale's headquarters. They engage in a comedy fight with an odd job clone. I swear to God, Random Task was better. Darius prepares to activate the backup device, to activate the Stormbreakers and kill all the people in the empty schools. It resembles the TARDIS control column. But this is just an episode of Doctor Who!
Doctor Who?
Who the hell are you?
I'm the Gimp. I live under your sofa and protect the flats and the beautiful Charlene when you and your hipster of a flatmate aren't around. Where is he anyway?
There was a special offer on the Starbucks, 0% off if you turned up with stupid glasses and a laptop, and you stay the hell away from Charlene.
And after all the times I watched over you while you were sleeping, so what episode of Doctor Who are you reviewing? Fear, Blink?
The Day of the Doctor?
I'm not reviewing the Doctor, I'm reviewing Stormbreaker.
And what makes you think you have the right to review a film that tried to be the new Harry Potter and failed amazingly? You need my help and in-depth knowledge.
Listen here, you sofa-lurking, Wikipedia-quoting creepy thing! I am Duncan Gordon, the 7th of my line! My great-great-great-great-great-grandfather came to London to review William Shakespeare's Macbeth. He hated it, and ever since then we've been online reviewers.
Okay then, good luck.
Weirdo. Anyway, Darius is about to launch the backup device using the humpback whale mating call. But Alex is teleported to the top of the tower and attempts to take Darius down. Unfortunately, he's completely useless. But Darius doesn't cover himself with glory either, because he's armed, and despite having numerous point-blank attempts to kill, doesn't. In the end, Darius and Alex are on the roof, preparing to fight to the death. Alex forced off the roof, clinging desperately to a cable, when Sabina leaps. Darius throws her off the roof as well, as they cling desperately to each other, as Darius finally prepares to fire. Wait a second. The hero and this girl are clinging desperately onto the side of a building as the villain prepares to kill them and fly away in a helicopter. This is just Batman!
Batman?
You're reviewing Batman now? I can help with that. I've written a 10,000-word dissertation that clears up the plot holes in The Dark Knight Rises and translated it into Klingon for all my friends on the internet.
I'm still reviewing Stormbreaker. Go away. If you like, you can help me review The Spirit.
The spirit? No, not the spirit.
I swear to God he wasn't mentioned on the lease. Anyway, the helicopter approaches. Darius prepares to kill. They cut away. A gunshot is heard. Darius Sale has been shot by Damian Lewis. Alex Rider doesn't kill his own villain because he's the most useless hero since Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark! That just... Fine. Darius is shot. Damian Lewis saves Alex Rider and Sabina, takes them to a nice, safe rooftop. Damian Lewis tells Alex Rider to forget about him, to go back to school, to write away this chapter of his life, and ignoring the fact that Damian Lewis has saved his life twice, including from his own villain in his own film. Alex Rider says to Damian Lewis that they are enemies forever. We then cut back to school. Alex and Sabina are going to class. Alex turns around and sees some sequel bait. He realises that this isn't over. Except it is, because the credits are rolling, and my God, this film is just a wasted opportunity from beginning to end. The acting is awful, the dialogue is awful, the fight scenes are, both of them are awful, the chase scenes are awful. No wonder this didn't work. Hell, even the tagline in the UK, the tagline was, Alex Rider, you're never too young to die. Brilliant tagline. For the American market, it was changed to the so more generic, save the girl, rule the school. Also, the film showed up key problems with the idea of a 14-year-old boy being a spy. Alex Rider can't drive. He can't shoot. Because of cultural context, he's not particularly allowed to get intimate with women. It's just a waste of opportunity, and it could have been so much more. As it is, this film is almost forgotten. In fact, after this review, I'm never going to think about it again, unless it's a pub quiz question. Name the worst British film ever made. Well, it's not. Name the most expensive British film ever made that sucked. Alright, I'm going to dunk this film, and it's going to fall apart before it gets anywhere near the tea. Because, my God, this film sucked. End credits.